All right. Good evening, fellas. I want to thank you all for joining us. My name is Tashin Stallings. I am the Eastern Region Community Service Community Impact Liaison. I wanted to thank you all for taking the time to participate with us in this part one series of intro to podcasting. Wanted to bring this initiative to the brothers for those who maybe haven't done a podcast before or interested in doing a podcast. So Brother Lester Hamilton from Psi Omega was recommended in terms of doing podcast sessions. And so we coordinated in terms of just over the next couple of weeks in terms of just bringing this opportunity to everyone. Lester, you are, the floor is yours.
Right. Oh, our brothers. For those of you who are in the fraternity, and then those of you who are guests, my name is Les Hamilton. I crossed April 15th, 2010 into the fraternity under the Beta Theta Omega chapter. I've worked with multiple chapters across the country, to include chapters in Cali, to include chapters in Virginia, chapters in Maryland, and also my home state of Pennsylvania. Let me grab a pen. Sorry, I have a notepad. I just want to make sure I take notes on any questions that you guys may have over the course of this webinar. So a little introduction into what I do and I guess why I was chosen. So I started a financial real estate portfolio called Community Financial Investments. And I thought about ways for me to be able to get my voice heard and be able to network with more people. So after I had a talk with one of my marketing friends, they suggested that I do a podcast. So I said, okay. And podcasts themselves usually hit demographics between 25 and 34. I learned that to be true because when I looked at my own analytics, it showed that the listeners of my podcast were both men and women 25 to 34, because that's just what we are gravitating towards now, books and audio books and podcasting and everything like that, because you're just constantly moving. So you don't necessarily have time to actually sit down and read. So they would like to just listen to and learn and absorb things through other people's perspectives. So I always like to look at my Community Money podcast as a conversation that people want to hear, but don't necessarily know the people who are in the conversation, if that makes sense, right? I also added a apparel store for Community Financial, and I'll drop the link in there if you guys want to support that as well. So let's start talking about the podcast itself. I named webinar 1 The Creation, because it's really about digging deep into what you actually want to talk about. Me, I'm big on money. I'm big on finances. Can everybody hear me? Thumbs up?
Yeah, I can.
Thumbs up? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we can hear you.
So, all right, cool. As long as you guys can hear me. So I'm big on finances. I'm big on financial stuff. I'm a nerd when it comes to that. When it comes to real estate acquisition and crowdfunding and the 2012 Jobs Act and stuff like that, because I want to be able to not only build wealth for myself, but for other families who decide to join in with me on this journey. So when we talk about the podcast itself, the first question is, what do you want to talk about, right? You have to think about something that you're passionate about. You have to think about something that you find yourself talking about all of the time, even when you're not prompted to do so, right? And once you have that item in mind, you have to consider your overall knowledge on a topic and think about it as something that you can potentially turn into an ongoing discussion, right? Because honestly, that's what a podcast is. It's an ongoing discussion about things that you love to talk about, and potentially, if you have a guest that's going to be on your podcast, already having the questions and everything dealt out to them for a specific topic. Does that make sense? Yep. Thumbs up?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just want to make sure you guys are still with me.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about my podcast in general, I had to think about the two things that were not the two things that were most important to me, but several things that are important to me and something that was catchy, right? So I'm really big into the community, right? I wouldn't be in this fraternity if I wasn't into giving back and being able to network and really help build something, right? Leave something better than when I found it. So I really said the community, right? The community is a big thing. And I also wanted to talk about money. So to me, that was just easy, right? Community money, bam. My company is called Community Financial Investments, LLC. So I have community being involved in everything that I do because I understand the importance of it. So that was how I named my podcast. I figured out what I actually wanted to talk about. And I understood that it was going to take a little bit of the groundwork to make sure that it was something that people could say like, oh, community money, that sounds like a really decent title. So when I first started working on my podcast, I came up with 10 names and I focus grouped them, right? I asked my friends, hey, would you listen to something called this? I asked somebody else, hey, would you listen to something called that? And they said, nah, I kind of like community money a little bit more. Hold on, there's something in the background. Can somebody mute their microphone? Thank you. So I kind of focus group my friends, right? And I asked them, hey, is this name catchy? Is that name catchy? Which one would you actually listen to when it came to being able to listen to a podcast, right? So name your creation. So once you decided on the topic, right? I usually tell people to write 25 potential names down and share those with your friend group or with people that you trust and respect their opinion. But I only use 10 because I already kind of understood like what it was going to be. So in a way, it's like you're creating your own focus group, and you always look at your podcast as a business because you truly never know if you could monetize this one day, or even if somebody's going to be able to get their hands on it later down the line and collaborate with that particular individual. It happens all of the time. We never really know where good business ideas are going to come from. Until somebody that hears us and understands what we're trying to do says, you know what, I have a better idea with that. Now let me put my sweat equity and my intellectual capital into making this into be something bigger. So we already talked about the potential for your podcast to be created. Now we're going to talk about your software. We already talked about the names and how to be catchy and basically throw it into your focus group. So we're going to talk about the software. So hopefully everybody has this a pen and a piece of paper, but I'm going to type it in the chat as well. So it's called Anchor, and this is the website. And we're also going to go over the analytics of the actual website when you guys get going and what it says and how you can actually monetize your podcast. You basically get $15, sorry, not thousand. You get $15 for every 1,000 listens, right? So it might not be a lot, but it really depends on the target market that you're working with and how you actually want to be able to inform individuals on what you're actually doing. Another software that I want to throw out there is called Audacity, right? So all of this is in a group. Audacity is free. Anchor.fm is free. It's all free. You can use Anchor.fm on your laptop. You can use it on your phone. It's actually created to be mobile. But Audacity, you'll be using that on your laptop because I don't think that you would actually want to use that on your phone. It's an editing tool for you to be able to make your podcast sound a lot better than it would if you just use the regular music from Anchor FM, right? So Anchor is more so a recording service, but they also give you what's called an RSS feed, right? So an RSS feed, and I'm typing this into the chat box as well. So an RSS feed is something that's going to allow you to put your podcast everywhere. Apple, Anchor, Google, Beaker, name it, right? As long as you have an RSS feed, you can put your podcast on any platform, right? Now with Anchor, because you'll have an Anchor ad in there, Anchor will basically pay you for every time somebody listens to it. It's probably a couple cents, but at the end of the day, if you get 1 million listens, that's $15,000. You see what I'm saying? So it works out for monetizing. So you wouldn't necessarily be doing this to make a crap ton of money. What you would be utilizing this for is to create your own brand and be able to have people listen to you and understand what your goals are and what you know and who you know without you ever being there with them, right? So it's just like it's a commercial for yourself, but you're actually teaching people how to do things. So we talked about Anchor FM, we talked about Audacity, we talked about the RSS feed. There's another thing, convert to MP3, right? There's apps that you can get for free that will basically convert what your audio is, because usually your audio is not anything that you can transfer into particular programs. Usually programs are open for MP3s. MP3 is like the end all be all for audio when you want to use these free services. So if you can download a convert to MP3 app or a program, then you'll be good to go. Also, there's another program called Ari. So Ari is a program that I personally use. I used it to download audio books on YouTube because I wasn't going to pay Audible, $12.99 just to get the audio book. So I basically just ripped them on YouTube, and I paid $20. Yeah.
How do you spell Ari?
Oh, it's in a group chat.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
I'm putting everything in a group chat, so you guys can copy that down, and then you'll also be able to see it like once everything is over and stuff like that. So Ari, right? I bought it online. I bought the license to use it. I didn't use my debit card. I used a credit card, and I'll tell you why. Because if you use a credit card, then if you have any type of suspicious charges that might come up, then you can dispute those charges and get your money back. If you use your debit card and you have a suspicious charge because somebody used your debit card, it's going to take you significantly longer to get your money back. That's just a financial tip for, when you purchase anything online. So with Ari, I basically found, pretty decent music that I was going to use as an intro and an outro for the episodes themselves. So give me 1 second. You guys still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good. So I used Ari to basically download or rip things from YouTube. And it's only $20. It's only one time. If you do buy it, which I suggest you buy it, right? Because it can make your podcast a lot more unique, and you don't have to use the music from Anchor, which isn't really the best music to use. It literally only costs you $19.99, and I think it's worth the investment when it comes to quality. When it comes to quality. So let's talk about equipment. This is the fourth thing we're going to talk about before we get really hands-on, and I show you guys how I create the podcast itself, right? Equipment. So I have a MacBook Pro 13-inch, and I use that for all my audio, in my video recordings. I believe that it has a great built-in microphone, and it has a great built-in camera, even though I don't do any visual, right? I don't do any YouTube videos or anything like that. So, but I do use Zoom to record the sessions that I have for the podcast itself. And the reason why I do that is the same reason why Brother Stallings is recording this Zoom right now, is because you can basically go back and edit this audio when you put it into the Audacity program. All right. You can edit this audio. I can, once, if he gives me the MP3 via email, or if he shares it to me in a different way or throws it up in the cloud and I download it, I can literally just turn this episode into an episode on the Community Money Podcast fairly easily with decent music and everything once I convert it to MP3. And also when you use Zoom, which is another thing I'm going to throw in a group chat, you have the opportunity to basically save all discussions onto your desktop. Now, do you have to have a MacBook Pro? No, you don't. Using ROE can be used without worrying about. Yes. Sorry. Let me answer this one question. Yeah. So Zoom is good for discussions because you actually get the chance to download the actual conversation that you're having. And also with Ari basically just rips videos from YouTube and turns them into audio. So if the whole video is already audio and somebody puts up a music assortment, right, it's already on YouTube. So because it's already on the internet, they can't sue you because they already gave the license to YouTube to be able to use said music. If you go for another website, let's say Incompetech, then you might not have to use it, but you might not have to pay for it. However, if you go through something like Incompetech and you don't like their music or you use some of their music, you basically have to cite the person who made it in every podcast episode that you do. I used to do that, but then I figured out an easier way to not have to actually do that. So no, you do not have to worry about infringement or music rights. If you rip a Beyonce song or something like that, then yeah, probably. You know, but I don't use any music that has words to it. I use a lot of jazz music, or a lot of modern jazz music, or a lot of upbeat music that I just grabbed from that initial video that I turned into an audio. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yeah, somewhat, a
Thumbs
little
up.
bit.
All right, cool. No problem. Angela's iPhone. Thank you, Angela's iPhone. Appreciate it. I'm glad I could give you that clarification. And it's easy. Like I said before, if you want to use Ari, buy it. Use your credit card. Do not use your debit card for the reasons that I had explained a little bit earlier. So let me go into share screen. Let me change this around for a little bit. Let me go into share screen. We're going to go. School partners can share simultaneously. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
No.
Not yet.
Yeah. Oh, now I see. I see you, Brother Roosevelt. Thank you for that. So the chat came up. Hold on. Sorry about that. This usually doesn't happen. Hey, Brother Tashin, you said you gave me access, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, only thing is letting me do. Hold on. Okay, so I got the speaker. Can you guys see my screen now?
No.
Oh my God.
So let me see if I just make you full host. Will that
Oh
change?
yeah, please.
All right, try now.
No, I'm not getting. Not when I click on share screen, it's not letting me do anything. Advanced sharing options. Do you have multiple participants on there that says multiple participants can share simultaneously?
See. I don't see that multiple. I don't see that option.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know how I would be able to. Hold on one second. I'll be right back in like 2 minutes.
All right. While we waiting for Les, for those who are joining us, if you want to introduce yourself so we know who you are. Charles, you want to start?
Oh, I'm Tim. You got me already.
All right.
Hello.
What up, Rat?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So I'm Charles Mays. I am a part of Gamify Omega chapter, Buffalo alumni. I'm the Polaris chapter. Thank you for inviting me to this informational session.
All right, and just let everybody know where you at now, Charles. Where you? What city? What state you in?
Buffalo, New York.
All right.
Hey there.
Go ahead, Roosevelt.
Yeah, I'm Brother Roosevelt McMillan. I pledged Beta Chapter Hampton University, spring 1983. I am currently with Beta Phi Omega Graduate Alumni Chapter, Prince George's County, Maryland. I am also the first Vice President of National Panhandle Council for Prince George's County. On the civilian side, I currently work for the Office of Personnel Management, and I'm also an Army reservist. I've been in with the United States Army for 15 years now, going on 15 years. Back to you, Tashin.
Thank you, sir. All right, Stephen Rutledge, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's Stephen Rutland. I'm out of the Beta Kappa Omega chapter out of San Antonio, Texas. I just crossed during coronavirus in April 11th this year. I don't know what to say. I just graduated from college, and that's it.
All right, cool. Thanks for joining us, man. All right, Leon Troy, Kane's iPhone.
Hey, this is Brother Kane. I'm the chapter Polaris of the Beta. Oh, shoot, I'm about to get my old chapter. Jesus Christ. I'm Gamma Chi Omega, the Delco Iotas. I'm the chapter Polaris of Gamma Chi Omega. The graduate chapter is located in Delaware County, which whereas Chester, Pennsylvania is. I played a long time ago. That's all I'm going to say. But glad to be on this call. Tried to invite a few men in various regions that I had contact with and a few friends to introduce them to something that possibly can enrich their lives. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. Thaddeus Brower, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, now that you pressured me to, I mean, my name is Terrence. My name is Terrence, but I go by Thaddeus. I am a brother of the Psi Omega Alumni Chapter. I'm the chapter secretary, community service liaison, one of 2 St. Jude reps. Shout out to my second St. Jude rep, Tashin Stallings, Eastern Region holding it down for St. Jude. And I wear a bunch of other hats in Iota that I don't feel like talking about.
All right, thank you, sir. And Miss Angela, would you like to introduce yourself to us? You're still on mute, so we can't hear you. There you go.
I'm sitting here like, am I allowed to be on this call?
Yes. Welcome. Yes, you are.
Okay, great. My name is Angela Stubbs. I'm actually from Pittsburgh, PA, and I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Spring 99 Delta Iota. I'm currently a part of Alpha Alpha Omega chapter here in Pittsburgh, PA. I have a couple businesses, and I've considered creating a podcast myself. Haven't really looked into it, so I'm glad that I was invited by Leon to learn more about this. So far, I've been taking notes, and it has really been great. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
All right. And for those who don't know, my name is Tashin Stallings. I'm the Eastern Region Community Impact Liaison. Currently a member of Beta Omega Washington Alumni Chapter in DC. And we are hosting, this will be either a 3 or 4 part series in terms of intro to podcasting. So we thank you all for joining us. And if you're looking forward to your future participations with us in terms of this particular series. And I'm going to turn it back over to Les now.
All right. Hey, guys, I'm back. So for some reason, I cannot share my screen. I don't know why. I can't. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys my Zoom meeting ID, and then I'll be able to share my screen that way with all of you. I will drop that in the chat right now before we get off. So hold on one second. I don't know why it's not working, honestly. I just dropped that meeting ID in. But this happens from time to time, so not really worried about it. Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
So is your share screen, isn't that green at the bottom?
Say it again? Yeah, I was clicking on. Nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. Okay. Hold up. Hold on. Let me I'm going to exit out and log back in, and then nobody go anywhere. I'm going to exit out, log back in, and then I'm going to see if I can do it like that. I don't know. It might work. Sometimes it happens when you turn your TV off and turn it back on. So I'll be right back.
All right. Well, send me back the host privileges.
Okay. How do you do that?
Just click on my name and it should say I think restore back.
Oh, make host?
Yeah.
Oh, make host. Okay, cool. Change host. All right, boom. All right, I'll be right back. This works. This happened to me one time before. I don't know why it does that.
Okay.
All right, so I got that. So, can you guys see my screen?
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. See, a little, turn the TV on, turn it off, you turn it off, turn it back on. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So, all right, so I'm gonna drop this down here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go into Anchor, right? So on this page, this is the analytics, right? So the analytics shows like, hey, my audience is 34, not too much of a big audience or whatever, but it's branding. And everything goes up, so 1,200, right now I have about 1,200 plays. And then so far I made $10.34. That's why I said it's, when you're doing things like this, it's not for, monetary gain. You get your monetary gain from the other things that you're doing. This is really just for you to be able to get the word out for anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to learn about. But as you get that RSS feed and you start promoting your podcast, you'll get more listens, you'll get more everything because you're doing it consistently. So right now I have listeners and 94% is in the United States. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 94% of the United States, Barbados, Ireland, Puerto Rico, Malaysia, Argentina, Canada, Denmark, Philippines, Saudi Arabia, and Germany. So out of all of the people who have listened to my podcast total, I have a wide array of individuals who are actually listening to my stuff from across the world, which makes me feel great because, somebody listening to this in Barbados might have an idea about, getting their financial house in order. And that's what I exist for. That's what this exists for with me. So on listening platforms, you can see Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and other. Apple Podcasts is 55%. You want to make sure that when you get your RSS feed that we talked about earlier, that you get automatically from Anchor when you sign up, that you go into iTunes and you basically ask them for permission so they can host your podcast, right? You want to make sure that you ask them permission because they will give it to you, thumbs up, no problem. And then you're going to be able to send that link to all of your friends and your family and tell them to send it to their friends and family. And, if you send it to 5 people that send it to 5 people, those 5 people who send it to 5 people, now that's 30 people, 25 plus the other 5 that you already sent it to. And then you have Spotify, Anchor, and then others. So you definitely want to make sure that you're spreading your Apple Podcast RSS feed because almost everybody has an iPhone. Now let's look at gender. It gives you the gender analytics. I don't know what non-binary is, or I know what not specified is. That means that people didn't really choose a specific gender. But, for my podcast, 49% of the people who listen to it are male, 37% of the people who listen to it are female, right? And now you can see 18 to 22 right here. Right? Not that many 18 to 22-year-olds are listening to what I'm putting out. Or maybe I'm not hitting that correct demographic, right? But it gets higher, 23 to 27. Now, guess what? Skyrocket, 28 to 34. Do you think that 28 to 34-year-olds have a reason to start listening to things about financial literacy, real estate crowdfunding, how to own your own business, and things of that nature, right? And then it kind of like dwindles down 35 to 44, 45 to 59, and then 60, right?
Would
Oh,
it
okay.
be would it
Thanks,
would it
sir.
be safe to say that 28 to 34 is millennial demographic?
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what that means. 28 to 34. And thank you, Terrence, for the update on non-binary. You guys probably saw that on the side of the screen when it popped up. But you know, that's the group, you know, and plus that's the age group of people that I sent it out to anyway. So of course, who's ever actually listening, your phone has your analytical data based on, you know, what you put in when you register for it, how old you were when you bought it, you know, the things that you buy with the apps that you add in. If somebody sends out your data and says, hey, you know, how old are you? 35, 34, X, Y, and Z, all that stuff gets saved because they're going to sell it to somebody else. You know, they're going to sell it to somebody else for a profit. That's the stage that we're in right now when it comes to data and collection and things of that nature. So get off of that. So that's Anchor. Now here's another program. This is Audacity. This is what I was talking about before. Now Audacity is the program that you would basically be able to utilize to edit, right? So hold on one second. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
My AirPods are dying, so I'm just Hello?
Hello.
All right, cool. So we're going to go to Audacity. So Audacity is a program that you have to use that's actually going to make your podcast better, right? So that's what that looks like. But we're going to jump back to Anchor, and I'm going to show you how you can actually record your episodes on Anchor. So as everybody sees this main screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on New Episode, and that's going to take you to Record, Message, Library, and Transitions. Transitions are basically this. Just random sounds, right? So we're going to jump into some raw data. Your library is where everything is being kept, all right? So if you can see this, see June 20th, 3 seconds, that's me actually editing out pauses in the video, like in the actual episode itself, right? So you can chop up the audio that you create and it'll just turn it into 1 of 2, 2 of 2, 4 of 5. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, cool. So just giving you a little snippet of one of the pieces that I did from one of the episodes. There's so many individuals out here who believe that they know how to lead people down the right path because they are quote unquote educated, but they never did anything formal, right? They never did anything formal, like certificates and everything like that. So you see how the library automatically holds all of your audio? Hello?
So in perspective, let's say if it was like a 30-minute TV episode, you know, there's a running time of 22 minutes of the actual show. The other 8 minutes is filled with the commercial breaks.
Yep. You can record up to 30 minutes per recording, right? So I can make an episode 7 hours long if I wanted to, but will I? Absolutely not. But I can literally take these and I can just add them. When I hit plus, add, just adding every single piece. Now, you'll record, with Anchor, they want you to record a sponsored segment because that's the only way you're going to actually get paid. So you can add a sponsored segment. I already have a sponsored segment, so it's already keyed up, right? And if I want to save this episode, all I have to do is click Save Episode, right? I can get a title for the episode. I'll just name it blah, blah, blah. I'm going to delete this anyway. Just call it delete. And then they'll have a season number, episode number. What type is it? Full, trailer, bonus episode. Is the content clean? Is it explicit? What's your artwork, right? Your upload, you can upload new episode art for every single episode that you have, right? So I'm gonna just save that as a draft. If you wanna go back and you find a finished product, right? You can just click on publish now. But since this is not gonna get published under the Community Money Podcast, it's just here. So it'll tell you like, hey, this is what, everything looks like. Your sponsor segment is first, and then your next 3 parts of that episode are also there. Now, if you want to, change it, you can go to edit audio. It'll be right there for you again. And then you can basically go to these 3 dots right here. Let's say these 3 dots right here. You click on that, and it says split into multiple segments, or you can download the audio file. Now, when you're using Audacity, if you're going to download the audio file, then you're going to upload it into Audacity, right? Or you can just basically edit it in Anchor. I think that Audacity is significantly better only because Audacity allows you to cut out anything up down to a millisecond, right? So you can basically highlight something and delete it like as soon as you highlight it, you can just get rid of it down to like a cough, literally. Like it's an amazing program. So if we're going to look at this, makeshift episode that I just created, I'll just go up to episodes. And it's going to load it, right? So I have all of these episodes, and then these are the listens that I've gotten for every single one. 52, 41, 81, 47, 68, 64. I think the highest one I've gotten so far is Are You Brave Enough to Build Your Financial House with Brittany Phillips from the 1 Million Families Initiative, which is a great episode. I definitely want you guys to check that one out because she drops a lot of information. Also working through the process with loan officer Ayla Harris. That's pretty new. I mean, it came out June 20th. But if you want to delete episode, just click on the 3 and then just go delete. Get rid of it that quick. Everything is pretty much seamless, right? So we talked about your dashboards and your analytics. How many total plays do you have? What's your estimated audience? Who subscribed? How much do you have in your wallet? You can cash out any given time. I just don't choose to because it's $10. Your gender, your age, your geographic location of where your podcast is being listened to, and then all of the listening platforms, even devices. It'll tell you, hey, most of my people are listening to the podcast on their iPhone. 11% is listening to it on the web. 7% is listening to it on Android. 2% is listening to it on their MacBook, and 18% is listening to other because they're not registered in any type of database to pull that information. So this is Anchor. It's free. You can customize it any way you want. For the Community Money Podcast logo, I did not use Anchor for that. I think I used Canva, and Canva is free. So you can also use Canva for that as well. I'll drop that into the chat as well. So, or Tasheen, can you drop it into the chat for me as I go to the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, brother. So now let's go back to Audacity. So we're in Audacity. So this is where it's going to get a little thick, right? Because I've played around with Audacity for a little while now, and you only get better with time. You literally only get better with time. So let me do something real quick. Can you guys still see my screen?
I see you, yeah.
You see me or you see my screen?
Both.
Sure. All right, cool. There we go. So if I was going to go to, let's say Ari, right? We're going to do the Ari first. Type up Ari. Ari's going to come up, right? Install update. Update's done. Great. Install and relaunch. Cool. So I literally took all of this stuff from YouTube. So here's a crash course on how I did that. Did you guys see the Ari pop up on my screen?
No.
Oh, you did? Hold on. How do you not see? Hello?
Yeah, we got you. You good?
So did you see Ari pop up on my screen?
No.
No. Right
Okay.
now it's on the YouTube page.
Okay, so this is Ari, right? Or Ari, right? Ari. So these are the things that I downloaded straight from YouTube and turned them into audios, right? So I don't know why it's doing that. For some reason, it's probably cutting off because I'm going from screen to screen. So you guys see my screen now, right?
Yeah, it's still on the
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's where I wanted to be. So let's look at chill beats instrumentals, right? And this is why it's free, because you know it's free. So you can pick, I guess, chill trap instrumental, and you know you watch a commercial for 4 seconds and kind of listen to it for a little bit and see if you want to use this music or whatever music you want to be able to use. And again, this is with Ari or Airy. Or you can, if you don't like that one, you can skip through it. So let's just say that I wanted to use this beat particularly, right? I'm going to go up here and I'm going to copy. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go down to Ari. Here we go. I'm going to copy that, and you see Ari right here on this screen. I'm going to paste the URL. Can everybody see that?
No.
What is?
Maybe how you have your screen configured.
Yeah, I got. Can you see it now?
We just see that the link is highlighted from the YouTube, but we don't see you going to the Ari page.
Okay. Yeah, it's just an app. Because every time I'm cutting these down. Okay, can you guys see YouTube and Ari side by side?
No.
No, you might have to expand your screen out.
Okay, hold on 1 second. There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
All right, great. So basically, I highlighted this, right? I copied it, and then I basically just pasted it right into here, right? So Ari is going to basically look at it, and you're going to click right here, and it says MP3, MP4, 1080, all of that other stuff. Don't even worry about that. Just download it as an MP3. Click the download, and then now you're extracting nothing but the sound for the video itself. And it's pretty, my internet is pretty fast here, so it's pretty quick. Now Ari's going to automatically make a folder. They're automatically going to make a folder on any computer, right? And all I have to do is click on Chill Trap Instrumental. So you guys see how I did that? You guys see how I did that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically just going on YouTube, putting in the URL, ripping the music off of that, and then being able to put it in Airy, and then using that music in your downloads folder, right? So I'm gonna show you how that's actually gonna work a little bit in a little bit, right? So this is literally all of the stuff that I use. I use the internet, I use Airy, and I use Audacity, and I use Anchor. Just 4 programs can literally help you make a podcast and edit your podcast. Yes, this takes a pretty decent amount of time. That's why sometimes it seems like my shows may be few and far between because I do a lot of other things. But I do like to make sure I put out great content when I do post a new episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to make this significantly, we can make this smaller. We're going to go back to Audacity. And everybody can still see the screen, correct?
Yep.
You see, all right.
All right, great. Thank you for the feedback. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not moving too fast and that you guys actually see what how to do it step by step. So we're on Audacity now, right? Let's go to File, and we're going to import audio. So you go to File, Import Audio. File, Import Audio.
You're going too fast.
All right, cool. So do you guys see the Ari screen with everything that I have open.
Yes. Well, I think it's on Audacity.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Audacity. Cool. So we're still there. Making sure. Yeah, we're still there. Cool. So let's say we wanted to use this music. We're already importing it into this program, right? So you're going to pick Chill Trap, and it's going to insert that into this program. Did everybody see that?
Looking at the audio.
Yep. Did everybody see that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So here's how you edit when you actually start editing for your musical portion, right? You can click play, and it'll start. It'll start from the beginning, right? Click play. You can move it wherever you want. So let's just say that I want to only use this portion, right? This portion right here, the big block portion. I'll basically take this and I'll highlight that and I'll delete it. I don't want to use anything else. I'll just highlight it and I'll delete it, right? Now, let's look at something else. I can put the line right here, and I can basically go to File, or sorry, go to Edit. I can go to Clip Boundaries, and I can split it. So it's already split. I don't know if you guys saw that little millisecond jump, but it's already split because that's where I put the cursor at. Now I'm just going to go up to this area right here, time shift, click that, and I'm going to move this away from there. Now, the reason why I do that is because the podcast that I have, you have a beginning and you have an ending, just like everything else, right? You always want to make sure you go back to the I. You have a beginning and you have an ending. Now, what if I just wanted to use from here to, let's say from here to the end? Let's see what that sounds like. So we're going to pause that. So I'll basically move it over. I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to delete it. So that's all I need right there. Now let me figure out where I want to be on the next one. Right? Let's see what this sounds like. Actually like that. So we're going to move this right here, this cursor, and we're going to drag the rest of it and we're going to delete it. So now it's deleted. So now you have your beginning and you have your end based on what you're actually going to have people listen to, right? Now, usually when people do a podcast and they edit their audio, they're going to highlight it and then they'll go up to effects. And you always want something to fade out because at some point you're going to start talking and you definitely don't want to talk over the music, right? So we're going to click fade out. It distorts it in such a way that this part is significantly smaller. So now all the way in here, this is where you're going to have your audio for your track, all of your editable audio. So we're going to do the same thing with the next side, which is highlight. We're going to go to effects and we're going to say fade in because you're ending your episode. So you want the music to start coming on as soon as you know it's about to be over. So now let's listen to this from around the middle piece. You see how it fades out?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to go to the beginning. Let's say we're right about here, right? Because now we're wrapping up the episode. I'm thanking my guests for coming on and blessing us with the information that they have. I already asked them, are they going to be able to come back to the Community Money Podcast so they can share, more information with the people? Hopefully they always say yes. I haven't gotten it. Well, I got one no, but he was joking. Actually, one of our frat brothers, Jarrell Johnson from the Chi Omega chapter. I interviewed him for his B Abstract photography business that he has in Philadelphia. He does some amazing pictures. Definitely check him out. B Abstract on Facebook. So when we set it here, right, we just want to press play, and then you're going to hear it. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted, right? So we worked on how to insert the audio. We also worked on how to get rid of whatever you don't want. And we also worked on how to split it and distort it and fade it out and also fade it in. So it's 7:33. I don't know how everybody is on time. So how is everybody on time?
I'm good on time.
Okay, cool. Everybody's good on time. So we still got 9 more.
I'm good on time as well.
Say it again.
I'm good on time.
Great. Just want to make sure that I'm not going too fast, and I'm also making sure that you understand what apps I'm using to be able to make this possible, so you guys can do this for yourself as well. Because I think that these are great tools. They're all cheap, and you can really make something great from just your home. So we're going to go back to Audacity. So can everybody see the Audacity screen? Can everybody see the Audacity screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import more audio, right? So let's see what I have. I have downloads. I have, okay, I might not be able to, actually, yeah, I can do this. So I'm not going to use this one. However, I'll show you exactly how to make it happen. So an FBI negotiator. I listen to that stuff all the time because as a recruiter, you need to know how to talk to people, and there's nobody better to learn how to talk to people and get what you need to get than FBI negotiator. Literally have people's lives in their hands. So as you can see, this is a very, very lengthy audio, right? Now, let's go back up to this top block right here. Remember, always have it on an eye, because an eye is going to be able to help you pick and navigate what you want to do. If you're going to make it bigger, all you have to do is go over here to the right where it says zoom in, and you can zoom in as much as you want. This is why I said you can get it down to a millisecond, because you can pretty much edit out a cough, right? It happens all the time. Now we're just going to get back to where we were before. And let's say that I want to just get rid of a lot of this stuff, right? I just want to get rid of this. I don't care to have that. Let's say I just want to get rid of this. I don't care to have that. So all of this other stuff is this is just what the audio is. But I'll just take some of it. So I'll highlight it and I'll just delete it. So this is what I have. This is what we're going to be working with, right? When you go up here and you hit the arrows that go in both directions, the time shift tool, you can literally just slide it and overlap it, right? Everything that you hold, you just slide it and overlap it, right? And make it a little bit bigger. Actually, I'll make it smaller. So I want to have everything on the same screen. Now, we're going to slide this over here. I'm going to slide this over here. You see that yellow line, everybody? That means that it's perfectly symmetrical. It's perfectly symmetrical when you see that yellow line. It's perfectly symmetrical. It lines up perfectly. So if you want to overlap it, then you'll keep going. But if you don't want to overlap it, you want the audio to just be done, great. So what I want to do is I want to move this a little bit further over so the guy starts talking as soon as the music basically starts to fade out, right? And whatever you do on the left, make sure that you do it on the right. All right, so we got that done. We don't know what he's about to say, but we're about to listen to the music in the beginning, and then he's just going to start talking after that. All right, so let's play it.
But he knows his son is. He's told that the FBI is going to help him. Now, I don't know what went through his mind when he was told that the FBI was going to help him. But I could imagine that probably he figured maybe about 15 minutes later, he's going to hear on the front door, and Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones will be standing there.
So did you see how we did all of that? Hello?
Hello.
All right, so everybody good? Did you guys see how we did all of that?
Yep.
All right, cool. That's a pretty cool feature, isn't it? Because you can have the music come in and it fades out, and as soon as you start talking, it's over. You don't have to worry about lowering any volume. You don't have to worry about doing anything. And I tell people all the time, you don't need to buy a special microphone if you want to do a podcast, because the editing software that you use is going to be integral to the success of you making a quality product. I don't ever want anybody spending $400 or $500 for a microphone when you really don't need it. Your laptop microphone might be just as good as any other microphone because of the editing software that you use. So now let's just go over. So let's just go over to this side, right? So every time I go over, anytime I want to highlight something, I make sure that this eye right here is highlighted. So I just hit this. And now let's listen to the rest of it and let the music come in for him.
At least 4 questions in one. If I have a few minutes, do I want to talk to you? If I have a few minutes, I don't want to talk to you. Do I want to talk about what you want to talk about? How long is a few minutes? How do I get off the phone? Problem is, why all these questions?
You see? So we inserted the audio, and just understand that your audio track is always going to be a separate track. You want to keep it that way because you don't want to merge it until you know for a fact that that's what you're going to have. That's going to be your finished product. And we can go over this again the next episode that we have, because I know that it may be a lot. And the best way that you can do it is by doing it. So the next episode that we have, I definitely want everybody to have already downloaded. If you decide to purchase that, I think it's great. I'm an advocate for that because it saved me from using music from Anchor, because Anchor's music is not that good. You'll hear in my earlier episodes, that's all I used because I didn't know any better. But now I do. So I always advocate people to use different types of music, stuff that's more modern, stuff that a lot of people want to listen to. A lot more people want to listen to. And here's another kicker. So with your finished product, and like I said, we'll go over this on the next episode as well. So with your finished product, I'm gonna go up here with the double arrows, and we're gonna move this music out of the way, right? Go back to the eye, and we're gonna highlight everything. The yellow line always helps you, right? We're going to copy, and we're going to paste. So now what I just did was I pasted the exact audio that was in one frame, and I just put it on one track. So I'll just delete that. This is what you want to do with your finished product. Once you get all of the edible, the information, everything like that, you want to put it on one line because you're going to export the audio as one item, right? So you can literally slide this over. It'll lock like that. You can do the same thing if that's what you want to do. But when you do that, understand that the music is not going to overlap. What's going to happen is the music is just going to stop. So case in point, let's go back up to the eye. Always make sure that the eye is highlighted.
But he knows his son is. He's told that the FBI is going to help him. Now, I don't know what went through his mind when he was told that the FBI was going to help him. But I could imagine that probably he figured maybe about 15 minutes later, he's going to hear the front door, and Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones will be saying.
So I always suggest that when you're editing, you always hit stop. And when you go back to your edit, because that's where it's going to start at, exactly where you highlighted it at. So we're going to go back to that again.
Off the phone. The problem is why all these questions are.
And it'll come right back on at the end. So you can either consolidate your tracks, and you basically get rid of this because you don't need that anymore. You can consolidate your tracks. You can overlap your tracks. And then if you want to be able to get, your stuff exported, right? All you have to do is go up here, go to File, you go to Export, and you say Export as an MP3. Audacity will ask you, what do you want the name to be? I'll say FBI Demo Podcast, right? FBI Demo Podcast. Where am I saving it? On my desktop. Don't change anything about the standard quality. Don't change anything about the variable speed. Don't change anything about the joint stereo, or force export to mono unless you understand how your listeners are going to be listening to this particular piece of audio, because it makes a difference when it's coming through their speakers. So you can save it. So I'll save it, click OK, and then now it's exporting my audio with a standard preset. Now it saved it on to my desktop. So let me go look at my desktop now. Nah, I don't really care. So now let me look at my desktop now. Can you guys, stop sharing windows closed. Okay, hold on 1 second. So back to meeting. Share screen. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
All right, cool. So I saved it to my screen, to my desktop. Now you guys see me hovering over FBI Demo Podcast. It automatically saved it as an MP3. And it opened it up in iTunes, because you can see this right here.
But he knows his son is, and he's told that the FBI is going to help him.
Right, so I just threw music and audio in the same pile, right? Now I have an MP3 audio I can utilize. Now, let's take it back to Anchor. If I already have this FBI Demo Podcast already edited, all I have to do is go to New Episode, click to upload or drag files. I just have to go to my desktop, FBI Demo Podcast, and then Anchor is going to upload the FBI Demo Podcast, the finished product that I have. It's going to upload it. So if I want to add a sponsored segment, I could. If I want to chop it up after that, I could. If I wanted to leave a blank space at a particular time frame, let's say 16 minutes and 20 seconds, and then go back into Anchor and split it and then add my my commercial, I can do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this episode, and I'm going to show you guys how it translates to being able to publish your episode. And then we can literally do this, multiple times. So, muscle memory, and, you see something multiple times, you'll be able to remember it a lot better. So we're just going to save this episode, just like we saved the other episode. Let's just say it's FBI Demo. Say it's FBI Demo. I don't really care what they want to, I don't really care. Just save everything as FBI Demo. And, season 10, episode 1 or something like that. Let's call it a bonus episode, right? Say the content is clean or explicit, probably explicit because he was FBI negotiator, but let's save as. Everything is already saved. FBI Demo, everything is already saved. Now what happens? Now you can actually listen to your episode in totality before you post it. And I always suggest that people do that. You always want to make sure that you listen to your entire episode at least twice, because there's little things that you might not notice. There's little edits and hiccups that you might not even realize were still there. And then you can just keep editing it from the Anchor, right? When you edit your audio. So, and then you can skip through.
But I teach at Quantico now. I wrote the book at Quantico. Lay out my resume, my experience. They might as well have yawned in my face. The problem is, why all these questions are.
You see? So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to my episodes and delete this episode because it's not, going to stay there at all. So right now, that is pretty much all I have. I mean, that was a lot. And we can do it. We can do it a lot. We can do it multiple times. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, we can do it multiple times. I don't have a problem with that. However, the better you get at this particular thing, you have to really tinker at it, because it's about making sure that you hear everything and make sure that it sounds as good as possible. So that was basically the beginning of starting editing your podcast. So let's talk about what we went over. We talked about, what do you want to talk about, right? What do you want to talk about? What are you most interested in talking about? We also discussed what would your name be, right? Start writing down some names and getting with your friend groups and potentially other frat brothers and other organizations, people who are networking and say like, hey, this is what I want my podcast name to be. What do you think about it? And kind of get like a majority opinion, because it could be able to change your mind about what you want your baby, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be your baby, right? Something that you create. What is it going to actually be? Also, we talked about the software that you're going to be able to use, which I dropped in the chat. Okay, I think yeah, so I dropped it in the chat. It would be Airy, which is $19.99 online. Make sure you use your credit card when you buy it. So if they try to steal your information, you'll be fine. You could just dispute it and get your money back. We also talked about Audacity, which is a beast when it comes to editing actual podcasts. We talked about Anchor. Anchor gives you an RSS feed so you can be able to monetize your podcast and put it everywhere. And we also discussed, doing this on Zoom, because Zoom actually allows you to record, and you can turn those recordings into actual MP3s, edit them, and then put them into Anchor itself. So thank you guys for your time. I really look forward to working with you guys next week and hearing what you want your podcast names to be. And I also look forward to you guys downloading what is that called? Downloading Airy, and also downloading Audacity, because it gets a little bit thicker than that when it comes to how you're going to be able to edit your particular episode. When it comes to you being able to edit your particular episode. So does anybody have any questions for me? I know you guys wrote something down.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Brother Tim.
Is it best to just use a laptop computer when you're getting started like this?
Yeah, you can definitely use a laptop. You can definitely use a laptop. It's really whatever you're comfortable with, and whatever is going to be able to support. Now, if you just want to do your podcast on Anchor, you can use your phone. It's not a problem. You just have to put the audio in there, the recording. You just have to put the audio recording in there, make sure that you edit it, make sure that you edit any gaffes or anything like that. And once you start getting a little bit more advanced, you can use Audacity. I think Audacity is the best thing to use. It hands down, to me, it's the best because it allows you to have more flexibility. It allows you to add more of a modern touch. And also, if you're good at timekeeping, when you do want to set your breaks, you can actually just write down what break time you have, and then you can cut it in Audacity and add your commercial, whatever your commercial is, whether it's a sponsored segment or whether you do shout outs with your friends like I do, to have other people who do podcasts. So you'll hear, hey, we got to take a quick break for our show sponsor. We'll be back with Community Money Podcast and insert guest name. And then the podcast for the friend that I want to promote is also in that episode. And then I usually have 2 commercial breaks because my episodes usually go for about an hour or so, because there's just so much information. I never want my guests to actually stop talking because there's just so much information I know that a lot of people don't know. So I want to make sure that I become a vessel for people to understand what their powers are and what their abilities are when it comes to learning about something that they haven't been exposed to. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anybody else have another question for me about podcast creation and anything like that?
Let me ask you another question. You mentioned about people watching you, whether it was on iPhone or Android. When you're using your laptop, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if it's an iPhone or laptop or whatever. That's just a.
Yeah, it would be considered other.
Or the laptop would be.
Yeah, it would just be considered other or web. So however they're listening to it, it's probably more web or it's probably other.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So that's the part of the analytics. The analytics are very detailed, and it's good because once you start getting an understanding of what your analytics say, you can really start tailoring your conversations to your audience based on what 25 to 34-year-olds need to know, because they're listening to you for a reason. They're not subscribing to you because they want to help you out. Like you understand that they have a understanding of what they're learning and how it can be beneficial to them.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
So to Miss Angela, Thaddeus, you got any questions? Tashin, you got any questions?
Oh no, I'm good on the question. You did a good job, brother. Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You stay making me proud.
Thank you. Miss Angela, anything? Thank you for the compliment on the pace. I was trying to make sure I kept it, nice and breezy.
It's been great. Thank you so much. You've shared a lot of tools. I wasn't expecting you to actually kind of walk us through all the tools and how to use them. So I definitely appreciate that. Thank you. And I look forward to more sessions and learning more.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm here for. Doing this, I want to do it at least 3 more times. And I just expect that everybody would have Audacity already downloaded, have Anchor already downloaded with a profile, and at least have Airy, purchase Airy, so you guys can basically pick the music that you want to be able to use in the beginning, because let's be honest, people love music. They love, if they have like a good song that they're listening to before the podcast starts, they're just like, oh, this is going to be good, even if it's bad. Oh, this is good. They got the jazz music, got the John Coltrane, and they'll be like, oh, this is nice. I could definitely listen to this. And then you start talking, and then hopefully you sound good enough for them to stay on. But at the end of the day, the music is going to definitely catch them, and that's going to be the first impression. And then also when you're sharing your podcast, when you get your first episode, send it to your friends, send it to your family, send it to everybody. Suggest that those people send it to 3 to 5 people. And just remember, we're all going to be disasters before we're masters. We're all going to be horrible at the first thing that we start. But as long as we keep moving forward with what we're doing, we're going to get better. It's inevitable.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
I know you said your podcast usually go about an hour long, with the 2 sponsor breaks that you have.
Yep.
Is there a recommendation for how long a podcast should be?
So it depends on what you're talking about, right? I listen to Bigger Pockets. I listen to Bigger Pockets. I listen to other what am I trying to say? Other podcasts, and some of them are 40 minutes, some of them are 20 minutes, some of them are 10 minutes. It really just, it's about what you want to actually put out in the world. If you want your podcast to be 20 minutes because you want it to be a quick snippet for people when they're going to work, have at it. Nobody can make the decision for you on what you should have your podcast be. So it's really going to be your decision on you know, what you want your episode to look like and sound like.
Okay.
And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop a couple episodes in here. I believe, yeah, that's one episode for Anchor Community Money Podcast. I'll drop another couple ones. I want you guys to check that one out. And the good part about it is, you know, when you're on Anchor, when you're on, you know, iCloud or whatever, you have links. So you can just tell somebody to, hey, share the link, you know, share the link. Let's see what we're talking about. Hey, you know, if you want to be on an episode, let me know. So we can set something up maybe over Zoom or something like that. That's how I started. You know, I have some amazing conversations with people, you know, across the globe, right? Like I have some amazing conversations. I just wanted to make sure that people that I knew, that I loved and respected, actually got the chance to hear those conversations, not only in real time, when it came to them being able to listen to it over and over again, but being able to learn from it. I don't think that, you know, us having conversation with people should just be relegated to that particular moment. So I'm also going to drop one more in, and the last one is from Brother Large Jeter. He's a CPA. He works for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Philadelphia, and we literally had a tax episode. Ayla Harris, she is a loan officer in Maryland. We had an episode about what a loan officer is to your home buying process and the things that you need to know for COVID and things like that. And then I also have, you know, are you brave enough to build your financial house with Brittany Phillips, the founder of the 1 Million Families Initiative. So I think that, you know, if we can send these episodes out, people can have a better understanding of what they can do with their money and how they need to understand, you know, I guess like adulthood and things like that, right? All the things that nobody really taught us as we were growing up. I think that this is a place to be, and I'm glad that I had an opportunity to create that. So without further ado, thank you so much for, you know, sitting down and sitting down with me for about an hour and a half and listening to me, you know, I guess, figure out how we can make this palatable to anybody who wants to create a podcast using Anchor, Audacity, Airy, YouTube, and all of the tools available to you. And I look forward to next Saturday as well, 6 p.m. Well, 6:30 sharp.
6:30. All right. So definitely, we will send everybody a reminder email for the session 2 at 6:30, where we'll be using Zoom to reconnect you. You are more than welcome to invite anyone who's interested in learning about podcasting. We want to thank you all for joining us and getting this information. Les, this was great. Definitely, you know, helpful in terms of just doing the walkthrough with the different apps and the different sites and everything.
Yep.
And so we are recording these sessions. So even if you miss something, we will send it out so that you'll be able to review it. And for those who will be looking to join us for session 2, if they want to get access to session 1, they could just get in contact with me, and we'll make sure that happens. You can also look for it. We're going to try to get this added to our Eastern Region app. So Eastern Region Iotas has a mobile app. So if you can do a search for that, and we'll get this added to that as well, so that it'll be stored there. Again, thank you everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend. Please be safe, and we look forward to you guys next Saturday, 6:30.
Peace.
All right.
Good. Wow.
Wow.